Hey guys, this is Rafi Ozik and welcome to your third HTML5 tutorial for beginners. In this tutorial, we're going to get into a little bit more detail about how to use tags in order to display data on your website. So we talked a little bit about how HTML is basically a set of instructions using tags that will tell the browser how to display our text or our data. So let's get into that now. We're going to skip over here the head tag and title tag and go right to the body tag. So we see here we have the opening body tag and the closing body tag. Everything inside of the body tag is the main part of your website. This is actually what's going to be displayed on your website to your user and is really the most important part of your HTML file. So we have in here the H1 tag and the closing H1 tag and the H2 tag and the closing H2 tag. H1 here stands for header 1 and H2 stands for header 2. So if we go to the live preview button in brackets on the top right, we have this lightning kind of icon here. We're going to click on it and we're going to preview our website. And we're just waiting for it to load, and it's loading and it's loaded. So we see here we have header 1 says my first website, and it says the header 2 says on our way to becoming a high-paid software engineer. And these have default values inside of your browser with HTML, what header 1 and header 2 is. So if we play with this a little bit, we could actually add more. We could add header 3. This is even smaller than header 2. And we could add H4 or header 4. Say this is even smaller than H3. And we could even add header 5. And we say this is even smaller than H4. And if we go back to our preview here, you can see that header 3 comes out as this is even smaller than header 2, and header 4 says this is even smaller than header 3, and header 5 says this is even smaller than header 4. So that's pretty cool. Another really important tag that you're going to come across with, let's just delete some of this here, and another important tag that you're going to come across with a lot is the P tag. And the P tag stands for paragraph. So we'll just write it here, this is a paragraph. And if we then look over here, we'll see this is a paragraph, and this is the default way on our browser that a paragraph looks. So that's also pretty cool. It's important for you to realize in HTML that everything between an opening and a closing tag is considered an element. So everything inside of the opening H1 and the closing H1 is considered an H1 element, or this is an element. And everything in the opening H2 and the closing H2 is also considered an element. Now there are some tags that don't have an opening and closing tag. And these tags are called empty elements because there's nothing in between the opening and closing part of it, because there is no opening and closing part of it. There's just the opening, it itself opens and closes itself. And an example of that is the break tag. So BR, or the break tag, doesn't have to open and close. It automatically opens and closes itself. And what it does is creates a space between the top and the bottom. And 1 second, that's my phone. Okay, that was my phone and I am back. So this is a paragraph, and then we talked about how we have the break tag. So the break tag, it opens and closes itself, which is why it's considered an empty element, since there's nothing in between opening and closing tags, since it itself is an opening and closing tag. And what it does is it creates a space between the element above it and anything below it. So if we made a bunch of these break tags, break, 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 and let's do one more break. And then we could make another paragraph, and we could say this paragraph is way lower than the paragraph above it. If we take a look about that in Chrome, we'll see that it says this paragraph is way lower than the paragraph above it. And you see that the break tag functions to create that space. Another really important tag that we should know of in HTML is the image tag, and this could be used to call images. So I actually got this little turtle.jpg. I think I got it from pixabay.com. There's also Unsplash, which is a really good website. I like Pixabay, I like Unsplash. You get a lot of really good free images to use from those websites. So if we go here, we can create an image tag, and we're gonna do angle bracket image, and then we're gonna do source equals, and then we're gonna do quote, and we're gonna do slash. We're gonna do image. That's where I made a separate folder called the image folder, and then you see brackets automatically gets it slash turtle.jpg. And then we're going to create something called an alt. And an alt is going to be the text that's going to be displayed for the image if the image doesn't load or before the image loads. So we can actually write here turtle. And by the way, guys, if you know the difference between a turtle and a tortoise, feel free to mention so in the comments, because I'm not exactly clear exactly what the difference is between a turtle and a tortoise. There seems to be, some conflicting information out there. Originally, I thought that a turtle was, above water, a tortoise was in water, but I'm not exactly sure that it's that anymore. So if you have any information on that, let me know. And here we're going to declare the width and the height. So we're going to say the width is 200 px, and we're going to say the height, is 400 px, or I will say also 200 px. Let's actually make the width a little bit bigger, say 400 px, and then we're just going to close it. And this is your image. And if we go here, we see we now have this turtle image under the paragraph.